everywhere, be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and action of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. On behalf of the Department of Physical Education and Sports Sciences, Deshbandhu College, I would like to welcome Dr. Rajiv Agarwal, Principal, Deshbandhu College. Our speaker for today, Acharya Brahmdev Munilalji from Atlanta, USA. But today, right now, he is joining us from Mauritius. All the speakers across the globe who have joined us today for this session, all the participants across the globe who are joining us from the different time zones, all the students from different schools, colleges, and universities, all the faculties and department heads. I feel immense pleasure to introduce our today's guest, Acharya Brahmdev ji. Acharya Brahmdev Mukundlal has an inclusive education background of science, banking from University of Mauritius, management ABE UK, and Darshana Vedic philosophy from Darshan-Yog Mahavidyalaya, Gujarat, India. He is the key source person for Arya Sabha Mauritius on the universal Vedic values, yoga and meditation, and on interfaith and intellectual dialogue at various national and international universities. The Mauritius Council of Religious, Arya Pratinidhi Sabha, America Greater Atlanta Vedic Temple, and Hindu Center of Atlanta in Kunming. He is an author of numerous insightful articles on Vedic philosophy and contemporary issue in English and French. आचार्य जी मैं आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ इंडिया की ओर से और आज के सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को मैं ले जाना चाहूंगी आपकी ज्ञान गंगा में आपके साथ। आज के मॉडरेटर हैं फेसबुक के क्वेश्चंस के लिए डॉक्टर रूबी मिश्रा और आज के क्वेश्चंस जो जूम पे आएंगे चैट में वो मैं संबोधित करूंगी। ओवर टू आचार्य ब्रह्मदेव जी। धन्यवाद।
Namaste everybody and welcome. Eminent members of the faculty and coordinator Dr. Anjumji and members of the audience. Let's sit down straight, go into the, as we say, the physical or practical applications of yoga. Sit down straight, close your eyes gently, keep the body totally relaxed from head to toe. The back, the neck, and the head in one vertical line. Deep breathing, inhale and exhale. Sensing the breath, focusing attention on the inhale and exhale. And as said in the Yog Darshan of Maharishi Patanjali, Tasya Vatika Pranava, Pranav Dhani. We are going to chant that 3 times, do Om Jap. Om. Slowly, gently open the eyes, keep the focus. Welcome again to everybody. Yoga philosophy. questions arise with the source of that knowledge. And that knowledge starts from the Veda, which is acknowledged as the most ancient scriptures and text of humanity in the whole world. One example is Yajurved chapter 11, mantra 4, which says, Om yunjate mana utayunjate dhiyo vipra viprasya brihato vipaschita vihotra dadhe vayuna videka inmahi devasya savita parishtuti. जो नियम से आहार विहार करने हारे जितेंद्रिय पुरुष एकांत देश में परमात्मा के साथ अपने आत्मा को युक्त करते हैं, वो तत्व ज्ञान को प्राप्त होकर नित्य ही सुख भोगते हैं. So many examples of that. The word yuj, which previous speakers have addressed, means linking, yoking, binding. Yuj, yuje, yunjate, yunjanah, yunjanti, yuktvaya, and yoge, yoge, tavastaram. Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharvaved, all these are full of that. Maharshi Patanjali only compiled that knowledge from the Vedas, rendered it in a simpler form in terms of the Yog Darshan with 196 sutras, and Maharshi Vedvyas expounded on it, giving us the Ved Bhashya, Vyas Bhashya of Patanjali Yog Darshan. Yoga is a time-proven philosophy to attain the goals of human life. And if I can put the question and get you thinking, bogging your mind, what, according to you, would be the goals of human life? So many people will say, be happy or attain moksha mukti. But in terms of the Yog Darshan itself, it says, dukhon se chhotna. Stay away from pains and sufferings, and then will be on the other leg of it, sukh ki prapti, be happy. And for that, the Yog Darshan offers guidance. Hey hetu han upaya. Knowledge of the causes of sufferings and afflictions empowers us to avert sufferings and afflictions. And han upaya, we can then and only then adopt the principles to be happy in life. In terms of the Yog Darshan, defining Yoga, it says Yogash Chitte Vritte Nirodha. So silencing of the mental flux of activities. And I would add to it also silencing the emotional activities. It's taming of our monkey mind. And going to the sutra again, it says tasya api nirodhe sarva nirodhat nirbija samadhi. So nirodh everywhere. Nirodh of the silencing or stopping, putting a halt to our mental and emotional activities. And unfortunately, there are misconceptions about yoga also. We've taken one small branch of it and made a whole bundle of it. But the whole of the integral part of yoga philosophy is from Maharshi Patanjali, who has defined it. Like in the Sadhan Path, he says Kriya Yoga. What is Kriya Yoga? He says Tapa Swadhyay Ishwar Pranidhana. So we should be able to build resilience to face adversity in life. Tapa. Swadhyay, study and introspection. And Ishwar Pranidhan, surrender to the laws of the creation, to the laws of the universe, and to the laws of Ishwar. And the Vibhuti Pad said, Desha Bandha Chittasya Dharana. So if we are focusing on external or internal object, we are still on dharana. And to go above that, we have to adopt the principles of Sattva, Purushayo, Shuddhi, Samya, Kaivalyam. So we have to increase the level of Sattvikta in our life, Sattva, which is enlightenment. Sanyog in Sadhanpad 2.17 refers to meeting union of the mind, body, and spirit. Union, harmony between our manasa, vacha, karmana, our speech, our words, whether they be spoken or written, especially in the world of today, written through social media. And in terms of physical actions, we have to establish perfect harmony. Samprayoga in 2.44, it says it's realization. Swadhyay Ishto Devata Samprayoga. So to realize the self, which we call Atma Sakshatkar, to realize the use of Prakriti in our life. Prakriti Sakshatkar, it has limitations. And then Ishwar Sakshatkar, realization of the supreme power, the supreme consciousness. Yogyata in Vyas Bhashi of 2.53, it talks about competencies, and Vini Yoga, it talks about the applications of yoga in our life. And the end result of it would be kushal.
We don't have our umbrellas or raincoats.
We become efficient and effective in whatever we do in life.
I have an idea. Let's wait underneath the roof of this house till the rain stops.
Dr. Amrita, please mute your mic. Dr. Amrita.
Okay.
Friends ran to take shelter.
आचार्य जी आप म्यूट हैं इस टाइम पे. जी.
So why the practical applications of yoga in day-to-day life? Because we have to nurture the roots. And if only we nurture the roots, then we'll be able to be true human beings, not remain human beings only as per species, but in terms of our ahar, vichar, vyavahar. Whatever we consume, whatever we think, and whatever we do in life. And the other leg of it would be manasa, vacha, karmana. Be human in our thoughts, be human in our words, and be human in all what we do, physical actions. So it requires a paradigm shift in attitudes. And the yoga philosophy itself shows us the way to do it. How to overcome the hurdles, how to nurture the roots, and get a full bloom with the sweet fruits at the end. And the roots are to be nurtured with yama and niyama. The precepts of personal discipline and social discipline. And for that, we require patience and lots of patience. Yog Darshan Sutra 1, Yog Darshan first part, Sutra 14 says, Sa to dirth kale nairantariya satkara sevito drer bhumi. So it says dirth kala. So whatever we do in life, the practice would be over a long period of time. So we need lots of patience for that. Nairantarya. We have to be regular in our practice, constant. Then Satkara Sevito. We have to be very passionate, very dedicated in our practice. Then we'll reach the stage of Dhrir Bhumi, start reaping, seeing the bloom and reaping the fruits of our practice. I take one example. Just everybody probably will have heard of Usain Bolt. He is running the 100 meters race sprint, practicing over 4 years, morning, afternoon, and evening. Run the race so many thousands of times and running in the Olympics for 10 seconds or less to get the gold medal. It even applies in our day-to-day life. I would especially look at it for people who have started cooking noodles. For the first time, thoda gilla ho jata hai ya thoda karak reh jata hai. But after 10, 15 times, you just get the practice. Even if you close your eyes, you'll get it right. It's the same thing. Roti banana hai. Pehle baar will get the shape of Australia, Africa, and so many countries of the world. 10, 15, 20 बार के बाद आंखें मूंद करके वो पूरे गोल हम बेल लेते हैं. So that's how the same thing applies in day-to-day life. So we want to be a better performer in whatever we do in life. We just have to be aware of what we are doing. Be conscious of that. And if we want now to go on the path of yoga, move away from dukkha,
Don't touch.
from pains and sorrows and afflictions. So we have to understand what is dukkha. Adhyatmic, adhibautik, and adidaivik. Adhyatmic, for which we ourselves are is responsible. Probably wrong food, lack of exercise, lack of pranayam, lack of discipline in life, so we start suffering. Then adhibautik, for which pains and sufferings caused to us by other forms of life, and that is inevitable if you are living in this world. So we have to develop tapa to face adversities in life. Then adidaivik, like natural calamities, and that also we can't escape. But if we practice yoga, we develop resilience, we'll be able to minimize our sufferings. And you know, when you minimize your sufferings, you create space for you to bring in happiness in life. Just as you have a cupboard and you'll fill it with all of the things that you don't need. Now you've gone for shopping, bought precious things, where do you put them? You have to create the space first. So that's why yama and niyama are essential. This is the water and the fertilizers to nurture your roots in the path of yoga. Then understanding the causes of pains and sorrows. Yoga darshan say avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh, pancha klesha. So the 5 causes of afflictions: avidya, ignorance. It's the absence of knowledge, incorrect knowledge. It's partial knowledge. It may be illusion about the true nature of things, or the knowledge of considering temporary things as permanent in life. Then asmita. Asmita is the concept where we think of us only as the physical body and nothing else. But just imagine, there's something which drives this body. And that's something when leaves the body, जैसे कहते हैं ना, शरीर ढेर हो जाता है. So we should be aware of Atma, the first Purush driving this body. Then Rag, it's inordinate attachment. Dvesh is hate. And remember, जिस चीज में हम राग लेते हैं ना, वो कभी ना कभी द्वेष में बदल जाएगा. The day that thing stops giving us the enjoyment that we are deriving from it, then that rag starts turning into dvesh. Then abhinivesh, we think of us as eternal. So these are the 5 causes of afflictions. Then Yog Darshan goes further into it. It says, Parinam tap sanskar dukha gunna vritti virodha. Dukhameva sarvam vivekina. Change, parinam. Things are going to change. Like if you buy a ripe apple, leave it in open air, it will stay like this probably for 2 days. After 3rd day, it starts shrinking. 5th day starts leaking. And 7th day, it starts smelling and rotting and with all types of worms probably in there. So that's one example of parinam. Tapa, craving. अच्छे भोजन बना लिए फिर उसमें छिपकली गिर गया, हम दुखी हो जाते हैं. One example. Then sanskar, the conditioning, things which we are used to do. What happens is that we get the practice, and when we get the practice of that, we develop the habit of it. And this is where addiction also tends to render our life difficult. Then gun vritti virodha. It's always a mixture of sattva, rajas, and tam. Sattva, the lightening properties, the brilliant properties. Rajas, the action, activating properties. And tama is the dormant, or as I say, more avastha. So what we have to do, we have to enlighten our mind, get the practice of...
Hello.
All of you, please mute your mic. Kindly participants, please mute your mic.
So we need one humble request, also switch off your camera, please. So from that, parinam, tap, sanskar, dukha, guna, vritti, virodha. Once we start moving our mind onto discriminating intellect, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, use your mind, use the faculty of your mind. Remember what is right and what is wrong, what is truth, what is... So as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, know what is true and what is untrue. Know the real truth, that you are the soul. Whatever people you'll be killing, you are not killing the soul, you are killing only the persons who with the bodies have been doing wrong karmas, negative karmas. So that is the level of discriminating intellect, to be able to recognize between truth and untruth, dharma and adharma. Then and only then we'll be able to shoulder our responsibilities, our duties, and shun negligence, irresponsibility in life. We become a better performer in whatever we do in life. Then we'll be able to master the 5 senses of perception and the 5 organs of action, 5 jnanendriya and 5 karmendriya, which goes in the line of the Upanishad, which says, Atmanam Rathanam Vraddhi. So the soul is the driver of this body, inspiring the intellect, the mind, and the mind driving the sense organs. So yoga is the path to be able to hold the reins of the horses of the senses and the other organs of the body. Then we'll be able to master Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moh, anger, greed, fascination, and all the things. So remember, I'll go back again on that sutra, Sato Dirkale Nairantariya Satkara Sevito Drir Bhumi. Success in any field in life, be it the bringing of children, be it sports, studies, research, discoveries, inventions, meditation, physical asana practice, are all on these terms and conditions. Dirkal, long practice. Nirantarya, constant, regular in your practice. Satkara, sevito, dedication, passion for the practice. The Yoga Darshan further enlightens us on the hurdles in life. It says, Vyadhi, Styan, Sanshay, Pramada, Alasya, Virati, Bhranti, Darshan, Alabdha, Bhumi, Katvat, Anavastitva, Chitta, Vikshepa, Antaraya. The obstacle to the silencing of the mind or to progress in other fields of life. Vyadhi, physical imbalance, sickness. So the prime importance on the holistic approach of wellness is physical, mental, spiritual, moral, and then social. So Vyadhi, we have to take full care of the body, but not devote 100% of our time caring only for the body. And tapa doesn't mean sharir ko galana ya sukhana chahiye. We have to take proper care because this is the instrument given to us to grow on the path of yoga or to grow in our respective fields. Then Styan. Styan is playing truant in our practice. We know that we have to do it, but we tend to procrastinate. So this is to be avoided. Sanshay, doubt. So whenever we have doubts, try to meet people who can give us guidance, especially the elderly who can share the experience of life. The knowledgeable who can share knowledge with us, which in terms of the Veda brings us to Vishwe Deva. Learned and knowledgeable persons always surround us. The fourth one is Pramad. Pramad is irresponsible, unconcerned attitude. Then Alasya is little or no concern to put up mental and physical efforts to realize our goals. Avirati is extravagance, overindulgence in subjects which are not related to us. Then Bhranti Darshan is contrary knowledge. We know things are like that, but since we've been taught from childhood that this is like this, we tend to cling to that knowledge even though we have the knowledge that what is right and what is wrong. So Bhranti Darshan, this also has to be cleared. Then Alabdha Bhumi Katvat, it's failure, the letting go attitude, the absence of efforts to consolidate realizations. Like we've come to a certain point in life, instead of persevering on that to be better and better, we say, okay, we've reached one stage, let's take a pause and then we'll continue. So then we'll have to start from back to square one. So these are things that have to be avoided. So these are the 9, as we say, hurdles in life defined by yoga. I think if we try to look into our life, these apply not only to the yoga philosophy, going for asana, meditation, everything, but starts from the application of yama, niyama in our daily life. And then the indications that we can sense where we are facing the hurdles or where we are facing difficulties in life. That is also defined in the Yoga Darshan by Maharshi Patanjali. It says, Dukha Dormanasya Angame Jayatva Shwasa Prashwasa Vikshepa Sabhuva. So if you want the divine guidance or the inner voice to prompt you on the right path. So listen to the inner path, to the inner voice. Dukh is grief. Dormanasya, post-failure irritations. Angame jayatva, shaking of the limbs. Shrasha prashrasa vikshepa, irregular breathing. So these are things which steps into, and if we catch these signals in due course, we'll be able to take the remedial steps in our life at the correct time. Because remember, after time, it's no longer time. And before time, it's not yet time. Time is time. So if you see the Yoga Darshan, the Yoga philosophy is not something which is limited as we tend to think by a bundle of physical exercise or sitting down quietly in meditation. It teaches so many things that if we pay attention in our life, developing that concept of Ishwar Pranidhan, surrender to the laws of nature, to the laws of the Almighty, to the laws in the creation, we'll be able to become better human beings. And remember, to be able to shift our attitudes in life, Yog Darshan gives us another sutra aphorism. Maitri Karuna Mudeta Upekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Punya Vishanam Pavana Tashchitta Prasadanam. So when we'll be able to make our chit, our man, happy, हम कब सुखी होंगे? It defines it. मैत्री, पुण्य व्यक्तियों के प्रति मैत्री की भावना रखो. For people who are benefactors in our life or in society, keep the attitude of friendship, because we have so many things to learn from them. Then apunya, to those who are suffering pains and sorrows, उसके प्रति आप करुणा की भावना रखो. Be compassionate towards those who are suffering and be forgiving towards those who've done evil to us. Then mudita, be happy. Be happy towards whom? Towards those, it was maitri towards those who are sukha, who are happy in life. Karuna towards those who are in dukkha. Then mudita is towards the punya, those who've progressed on the path of dharma, on the path, ethical way they've grown in life. These people also have so many things to teach us. Then upeksha is towards the apunya, towards the cruel, towards those who are hurdles in our life. You better be indifferent to them. Don't waste your time hating them. So remember, maitri, friendship towards those who are sukha, happy. Karuna, be compassionate towards those who are in dukkha, who are suffering. Mudita, be happy towards the punya, those who are growing, who are our benefactors. And then towards the cruel, the wicked, be always have the attitude of upeksha, be indifferent to them. You'll never lose time behind these people. So then and only then you'll be able to go on the path of the holistic approach to wellness defined in Yoga Darshan. The holistic approach to wellness in Yoga Darshan says physical, mental, moral, spiritual, grouped as atmic, sharirik, atmic, and then samajik. Then and only then we can work for the welfare of our family, of our relatives, our friends, and the community at large. And for that basis, we have to adhere to yama niyama, ahimsa, non-violence, satya, truth, asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, self-restraint, and channeling our body energies into the right way, and aparigraha, which is exercising proper control on our resources. Look, if we look at the world of today, we are talking about climate change, depletion of resources of the world just because we are consuming. And to take the word of the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, when he was in Mauritius, I think in 2013, with a conference on small island developing states, he said one thing: we are living in a planet as if we have a second planet Earth by our side, where we can draw the resources when we've depleted this planet Earth. So if we want to respect this planet, to respect, control, make judicious use of our resources, let's go on aparigraha. Parigraha means hoarding, taking more than what we need in life. And aparigraha is making judicious use of our resources. And if we start making judicious use of our resources, we'll have plenty of time for ourselves, for our relatives and friends, for our family. Because in the world of today, we are just in the rat race to satisfy consumption and to satisfy not ourselves, but to satisfy what other people will think about us. Then I'll go into the current status of the world in the pandemic. So if we adopt this attitude of Soch, internal and external cleanliness, so respecting the guidelines of the sanitary authorities, I think we'll stay clear, or at least we'll prevent ourselves from getting into those sickness. Then santosh, be content with what we have. Like during the confinement, people were complaining, we can't go out, we can't do things. Be content, you have been requested to stay at home, and be happy with that. Because if you go out, you can contaminate yourself, then bring that at home, contaminate the whole family. Then tapa, resilience, to be able to fight that stress of confinement. Let's say these are tough times which we have to fare through. So if we spend quality time with our relatives in the house, I think we can overcome that. Then swadhyay, take good books, acquire true knowledge, where you can make the distinction between true knowledge and fake news. Then you'll be happy also. Then Ishwar Pranidhan, laws of nature, laws of the creation, laws of the universe. So after complying with the yama and niyama in daily life, then we can progress to asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. It's good. We are doing exercises for physical wellness, but remember, asana is sitting down. जिस स्थिति में हम सुखपूर्वक लंबे काल तक बैठ सकते हैं, वो आसन है. So let's get the habit of that. Then pranayam, breath control, retaining the breath inside or outside or wherever it is. The other pranayam is good for health, which has been described by so many yoga gurus. But the real pranayam to grow on the path of yoga would be to go on the breath control, holding of the breath outside or inside for as long as you can do, but progress gradually, slowly on the path of Sat Udir Kale. Then pratyahar is always introversion. Rather than moving, chasing the world outside, chasing for happiness outside, let's look for the internal happiness. Dharana, it's always good. You start with dharana outside, then come inside you, because dhyan and samadhi, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi is antarang, part of yoga, is the inner part. That's the inner voyage, as we say. So if we look at it, yoga allows us to review our concepts of human life, connect to our inner self, creating the harmony between mind, body, and spirit, creating the harmony between manasa, vacha, and karmana, the speech, the words, the thoughts, the speech and written words, and physical actions. Then we'll understand the concept given to us by the Upanishad and the Veda of Manurbhava, why it's being told to us to be human when we're already born in the human form. It's told to us to be human in whatever we do in life. So yoga is a whole set to reboot our systems, to spring clean our hard drives, and to leapfrog into the new challenges in our lives. Yoga is the holistic approach to wellness, physical, mental, moral, spiritual, social, sharirik, atmic, and samadhi. It's a millennia-old philosophy. Remember the Sankalp part which Hindus do at the beginning of prayers. It does the counting of the knowledge of the Vedas given to us by God at creation. It says, Eka Vranda Shannavati Koti Ashtalaksha Tripanchat Sahasra Eko Navin Shatyottar Shatatame. It says 1,960,853,121 years now since that knowledge is running into us. Yoga gives us the awareness to connect the mind, body, and soul, and to improve our relationships with the self, with the others, whether it be inanimate or animate things in the world, conscious being, and also linked to the supreme consciousness. Remember, I will give you 2 sutras to be happy. Whatever happens in life, just tell yourself, koi baat nahi. You'll be able to keep you calm and not blast on the spur of the event. And often when you tell people that koi baat nahi, let it be, let it go, you help yourself to keep calm and not lose your temper. But the party in front of you may get more irritated. If it goes into that, then use the other 3 words. Ishwar Nyay Karega, divine justice will prevail. We all know the law of karma, and the yoga philosophy also deals on the law of karma in terms of where it says, that sutra talking about human life, jati ayu bhoga. So whatever species will be reborn in, and the lifespan according to that species and to whatever things we can derive benefit from in that species depends on our karma, on the previous karmas, where the concept of sanchit, prarabdha, and kriyaman, karma. So what are the accumulated karma? Then the prarabdha, those which have started to give us the results in our life, and kriyaman, those which we see the fruits or the penalties we are reaping from respectively the positive or the negative karma. Yoga brings us to self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar, realization that matter serves us till this body is there, and after that matter is of no use, so that is Prakriti Sakshatkar. Ishwar Sakshatkar, when you go into the last step of Samadhi, Asamprajat Samadhi, then we'll go into realization where we'll get what we say Ishwar Pradatyan, we'll get the divine inspiration to move ahead. Yoga gives us the methodology to be truly spiritual in life, where we'll be living spirituality as spiritual reality. अपने मन की शांति की चाबी अपने हाथ में रखना, ये योग हमें सिखाता है, दूसरों के हाथ में नहीं देना. It's like you have a brand new car, you keep your keys in your hands, you know where you are going. But if you give that key to somebody who doesn't know driving, definitely वो आपको गड्ढे में ले जाएगा. He's going to send you in a ditch. So this is where yoga brings you to be to true spirituality as spiritual reality, well above the rituals. That's why I say yoga is the truly secular values in life, because the universe, the values of yama niyama, these are universal. Nobody can say ahimsa doesn't apply to me, non-violence, or truth. I don't believe in truth. I don't believe in being truthful. I don't believe in such or in purity. You'll really find somebody, and these are the odd men out. So life doesn't work for us unless we do the right things. And doing the right things, as we say, on the basis of our practice, it says Satu Derkale, and on the basis of our attitudes, it says Maitri Karuna Mudita, which I explained earlier. Yoga also tells us on the law of action and reaction, which is not the same as is physics, where we say every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Yoga tells us that for every action that we are doing, it has an equal and like reaction. For the good karma we are going to do, we are going to reap the good fruits. And for the negative karma we'll be doing, we are going to pay the penalties. So what is needed to progress, whether it be in normal day-to-day life, it's introspection. Introspection, I would say, it's time for everybody of us to devote at least 5 minutes daily when we go to bed, to sit down before lying and try to find 4 or 5 things which we did well and take the resolve that we'll be better performers on the basis of what the yoga philosophy teaches us. Improve our practice, improve our attitudes. And for the faults that we might be doing, just analyze 3, 4 blunders which we did or where we erred. Take the resolve that we won't never again tread on the same path. The end point would be understanding the level of mind, jara buddhi, those who don't use the mind. And you know, it's like a knife. If you don't use it, it goes blunt. The more you use it, you go to the samanya buddhi avastha, the no average person. If you use it better and you do pranayam, you do asana, you do all the things, you'll get to the level of medha buddhi, the discriminating faculty. And when you start going on pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, you reach the level of ekatanta, one flow in whatever we are thinking about. Then we get ritam bhara pradya, where we start getting the enlightenment, the divine light within us. I just hope I've been able to rush through and run into the practical applications of yoga in day-to-day life. And I will end here and leave the floor open to questions, if any. Hello. Hello.
I hope everyone can hear me. This is a very nice
Yes.
lecture.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I would like to say, गुरु गोविंद दाऊ खड़े काके लागू पाए, बलिहारी गुरु आपने जिन गोविंद दियो मिलाए। आचार्य ब्रह्मदेव जी, आज आपने हमारे इस महाकुंभ के ज्ञान भंडार को बिल्कुल तृप्त कर दिया है। बिकॉज मेरा ये पर्पस था इस इवेंट को ऑर्गेनाइज करने का कि अपार्ट फ्रॉम आसनास, योगा के सभी आयामों को, ऑल द एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ योगा कैन बी अंडरस्टूड बाय द कॉमन मैन to practice in daily life. So you have been so successfully given us all the attributes of yoga to how to inculcate in our daily life. Because people think if they are not getting time to go for the yoga classes for 30, 40, 50 minutes, so they cannot inculcate yoga in their own life. But swadhyay, इंट्रोस्पेक्शन एंड यम नियम आहार प्रत्याहार को कैसे हम अपने डेली लाइफ में नियमबद्ध तरीके से शुरुआत कर सकते हैं, और 10 मिनट के इंट्रोस्पेक्शन से हम लोग स्वाध्याय के अंतर्मन को बांट सकते हैं और अपने जीवन को बेहतर बना सकते हैं। आज के हम प्रश्नों पर चलते हैं। मुझे लगता है आपने इतनी सुंदर तरीके से हम सबको समझाया है कि हम योगा को अपने बाकी आयामों को कैसे 24 घंटे अहिंसा के थ्रू, होर्डिंग होर्डिंग जब कोविड-19 का लॉकडाउन शुरू हुआ था तो होर्डिंग से बहुत लोग परेशान हो गए थे, क्योंकि यह दर्शा रहा था कि समाज में सभी लोग सिर्फ अपने बारे में सोचते हैं, उन्हें अपनी चिंता थी और उन्होंने 2-2, 3-3 महीनों का जो सामान था उसको होल्ड करने का कोशिश किया, जिससे बहुत सारे लोगों की रोते हुए वीडियो आई कि हमें कुछ नहीं मिला, स्टोर्स पे सामान खत्म हो गया है और हम क्या करेंगे। that moment was very, it was a crying moment for me कि हम लोग इतने स्वार्थी हो जाते हैं। 1 मिनट लगता है, एक खबर आती है, एक न्यूज़ आती है और हम सब स्वार्थी बन जाते हैं। हम सब समाज का कर्तव्य सबसे पहले पीछे छोड़ देते हैं और अपने में सिमट कर रहने की कोशिश करते हैं। अगर हम सभी अपनी डेली दिनचर्या में अपने व्यवहार को संभाल कर रखें, अपने व्यवहार को बार बार एनालिसिस करें रात को 5 मिनट बैठकर, तो हमें लगता है हम ट्रू योगी हो सकते हैं। उसके लिए हमें हिमालयस में जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, हमारे सारे कर्तव्य हमने यही निभाने हैं। हर्डल्स एंड डाउट एंड उनसे कैसे सक्सेस जो है वो रुकती है, उसके लिए आपने 9 हर्डल्स को मेंशन किया और हमें बताया कि इन 9 हर्डल्स को अगर हम आज से धीरे धीरे उन पे काम करना शुरू करेंगे, क्योंकि ताले की चाबी हमारे पास ही है, हमारे खुशियों की चाबी, हमारे सक्सेस की चाबी, हमारे आगे निरंतर बढ़ने की चाबी, हमारे स्वस्थ जीवन की चाबी हमारे पास है। उसे बाहर ढूंढने जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अपने अंतर्मन को झांकने के बाद बाहर हमारा यही कर्तव्य है कि हम समाज के काम आए, हम अपने एंगर को कैसे उसको रोक सकते हैं ताकि हम खुद भी सुखी रहें, और छोड़ दें कि ईश्वर सब जानता है। जैसे कल हमारे गुरु ने कहा था, जिन्होंने कल लेक्चर दिया था, ईश्वर सब जानता है। आपने आज का मंत्र दिया है, ईश्वर न्याय करेगा, और ये हम सभी जानते हैं। गुड कर्मा ऑलवेज कम बैक विद गुड फ्रूट्स एंड बैड कर्मास एवरीबडी नोज। पहला मंत्रा की कोई बात नहीं, लेट गो, लेट लीव, एंड उसके बाद ईश्वर न्याय करेगा अगर हम सब बिलीव कर लें। क्योंकि आचार्य जी, हम लोग सब सुबह प्रार्थना करते हैं, भगवान के आगे हाथ जोड़ते हैं, दिया जलाते हैं, मंदिर जाते हैं, गुरुद्वारे जाते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं बाहर आने के बाद जो हमारी लड़ाई शुरू होती है, फाइट शुरू होती है समाज में अपने अस्तित्व की, वहां हम भूल जाते हैं कि ईश्वर है, ईश्वर न्याय करेगा और हमें इस पर बिलीव करना चाहिए। मैं डॉक्टर रूबी मिश्रा को सबसे पहले इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी हमारे फेसबुक से जुड़े हुए पार्टिसिपेंट्स के क्वेश्चन लेने के लिए, और तब तक मैं अपने चैट ग्रुप के क्वेश्चंस को समाहित करती हूँ। ओवर टू डॉक्टर रूबी।
धन्यवाद। एम आई ऑडिबल? धन्यवाद अंजुम, बहुत अच्छे से आपने सारांश में हमारे आचार्य जी की जो आज की ज्ञान गंगा, हम ज्ञान गंगा से ज्यादा मैं कहूँगी योग गंगा में हम सब डूबे हैं, बल्कि हम सब में कह सकते हैं एक पॉजिटिविटी सी हर एक दिन में बढ़ती सी जा रही है। तो हमारे पास फेसबुक के माध्यम से भी बहुत से गणमान्य लोग जुड़े हुए हैं। आज भी मैं देख रही हूँ काफी हमारे वाइस चांसलर्स मेरे जो फ्रेंड लिस्ट में है, ऐसे बहुत से संगठन मंत्री और स्टूडेंट्स हमारे अक्रॉस द ग्लोब जुड़े हुए हैं। कुछ प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चंस मैं यहाँ लूंगी, जैसे दर्शन के बारे में पूछा है। दूसरा प्रश्न है प्रिया राजपूत ने पूछा।
1 minute प्लीज
जी,
आपका पहला क्वेश्चन जो है मुझे सुनाई नहीं दिया बिकॉज देयर आर सम डिस्टर्बेंसेस फ्रॉम अदर्स।
होस्ट प्लीज म्यूट ऑल।
या गो अहेड।
नाउ इट्स क्लियर। या
दैट इज
ओके। हाँ जी। एक पहला प्रश्न है कि योग दर्शन के बारे में शशिकांत जी जानना चाहते हैं। दूसरा एक बहुत ही बढ़िया क्वेश्चन आया है कि जो गुनाज हैं हमारे, क्या वो जेनेटिक ट्रेट से आते हैं, तो कैन वी चेंज थ्रू एनवायरमेंट? ये दो प्रश्न पहले मैं लेती हूँ, और भी कई प्रश्न हैं। आचार्य जी इसको आप उद्बोधन में समझा दीजिए जी।
अच्छा, योग दर्शन is the main compilation by Maharishi Patanjali ji, from where we get the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And the best elaboration has been by Vyas ji, Vyas Bhashya, which is in Sanskrit, and so many rendering are there in Hindi, English, and everything. But then I would suggest to people, when you read the Yoga Darshan, start with the second part, because the first part talks about the Samadhi. This is the ultimate. प्रारंभिक व्यक्ति के लिए वो बेहतर है starts reading from the sadhan pad, the means where you can go and progress on attaining the final objective. फिर उसके बाद then you start reading from page 1. That would rendering it is very fluid way of understanding the yoga philosophy. Sadhan path, if you understand the tools of it, then you'll be able to progress ahead. And Yoga Darshan is no new knowledge, as I said, it's only knowledge codified by the Vedas. I gave so many examples of it in the mantras. Then Guna. Guna, everything that you have in this universe has the three gunas in it: Sattvic, Tamasic, and Rajasic. So it's a combination. Which one dominates, that depends on how we've trained ourselves. आहार विचार व्यवहार, आहार सात्विक होंगे तो विचार भी और व्यवहार भी सात्विक होंगे. So we have to control what, when, and how we are eating. We have to be aware of that. So if we focus on that, we can start bringing the change. And that change is rarely achieved or impossible to achieve overnight. It takes time, constant practice. And then if we go on towards consolidating our behavior, bringing in more positivity, you know, when you bring in more positivity, the level of positivity rises. The level of negativity may remain the same, but the level of positivity, as and when it rises, and then the level of negativity stays the same, it outshines the negative. जैसे आप कहीं पे अंधेरा है, आपने दीपक जला दिए छोटा सा, फिर किसी दूसरे व्यक्ति ने 1000 वाट का बल्ब जो है ला करके डाल दिया, तो दीपक का असर नहीं पड़ेगा. It's always like this. When you increase the level of positivity, the negative will subside and its effect won't impact upon you. योग दर्शन की शैली में it says दग्ध बीज अवस्था. पुराने संस्कारों को आपने दग्ध बीज करा दिए. दग्ध बीज is what? It's just like you have a handful of grams. चना आपके एक मुट्ठी हाथ में है. उसको हवा पानी देंगे तो वो जर्मिनेट होगा, अंकुरित होकर के फिर पौधा हो जाएगा. अगर आपने उसको हवा पानी नहीं दिया तो वो कब अंकुरित होगा, और अगर आपने उसको भून लिए तो अंकुरित कभी नहीं होगा. सो इट्स द सेम वे. आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग फ्रॉम द योग फिलोसफी. दग्ध बीज अवस्था में करा देना पुराने संस्कारों को, देन यू शुड बी एबल टू फाइंड द वे आउट.
बहुत अच्छा आचार्य जी. जी, बहुत बहुत अच्छा आचार्य जी. हमने न्यूटन्स का थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशन था, फॉर एवरी एक्शन देयर इज इक्वल एंड अपोजिट रिएक्शन. और हम अगर सनातन संस्कृति की बात करें, और आज आपने भी इसको एक्सप्लेन करा है, फॉर एवरी एक्शन देयर इज अ सेम रिएक्शन इन योगिक फिलॉसफी. सो यम, नियम और आसन और इन सब पे ध्यान करते हुए हर कोई हर वक्त योग में ही रहे तो आधे से ज्यादा जो हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं इस वर्ल्ड की वो समाप्त हो जाएंगी. इसमें एक बहुत अच्छी बात आपने कही, अपरिग्रह. कल हम वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे मना रहे हैं, और इसको अगर हम ध्यान करें तो जुडिशनरी अगर हम अपने रिसोर्सेज को यूज करें तो वैसे ही सच में ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट डे के मनाने की भी आवश्यकता नहीं होगी. एक बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन हमारी फैकल्टी मेंबर डॉक्टर नीलम वर्वाकर का है, और ये है कि दोज हु आर वर्किंग विद कॉर्पोरेट मे फाइंड इट हार्ड टू दीज प्रैक्टिकल प्रैक्टिसेस रेगुलरली at the same pace, but these practices have to be done with regularly. What's your regularity? What's your take? Another question from her is that is, do these practices alter the basic temperament or basic nature of any being observed? Because observed many politicians practicing yoga and meditation but indulging in most immoral and unethical acts. Yes.
Yeah.
Very practical question.
Yeah. For those who are in the corporate life, I would suggest at least you need to give time to yourself. जैसे मैंने कहा, start by giving yourself 5 minutes daily just before you lie down in bed. Sit down in bed and think about the good things you've done and how to improve on that. And what are the blunders you committed, and take the resolve that you won't repeat that. So if you start giving time to yourself, you'll appreciate the time you'll give to yourself. And what happens with that practice, even in the corporate, when you have to face the tough time, you probably give yourself a few seconds of silence. Listen to the sounds of silence within you, to your inner voice, which is the best guide, and you'll have the best of reactions in the corporate world. I also was working in the financial services for about 20 years, and this was one of the practice which I adopted. Though at that time I hadn't studied the Darshan philosophy, I studied that only after. But that was as if purva janma janmantaron ke sanskar aaye. So I was giving that practice. So never react on the spur of the event. Just give yourself, even if that means 10 seconds silence with which the other party won't notice. But you take control of yourself. Then remember, on practices to control your temperament, as I said, sa tu der kale nairantar. Be regular in your practice. Take your time. It takes long time to change. But that remember, on karma, we have the free aspects of karma. Krit, jo hum swayam karte hai, what we do on our own. Then karit, we share ideas and opinions for others to do, or we instigate people. या जबरदस्ती फोर्स लगा करके दूसरों से कराते हैं. Then अनुमोदित, जहां पर हम स्वीकृति देते हैं. Remember, silence also can be consent. So if we look at these in terms of our karma, whether it's be in our personal life or in the corporate life, I think gradually, slowly we'll be able to change. And after, जैसे कहते हैं ना, 6 महीने 1 साल बाद जब हम पीछे मोड़ करके देखेंगे, अपने आप को नहीं पहचान पाएंगे. We were standing there and we brought so many changes in our life. So that is also things that have to be taken into consideration. Next, please.
Thank you so much, Guruji. Such an informative message. Over to you, Anju.
थैंक यू. आज आचार्य जी ने वैसे ही सब कुछ इतना सिंपल वे में समझाया है कि मुझे लगता है आज के पार्टिसिपेंट्स और हमारी रिकॉर्डिंग्स भी जो देखेंगे बाद में, वो अपने आप को 24 घंटे में कहीं ना कहीं इतने कॉन्शियस में रहना सीखना शुरू कर देंगे कि हम लोग धीरे धीरे अब एक अच्छी लाइफ विदाउट नेगेटिविटी और सक्सेस की तरफ विदाउट डाउट्स हम लोग आगे बढ़ सकें. क्वेश्चन ले रही हूँ मैं हमारे चैट में से. डॉक्टर लतिका एंड डॉक्टर अंजना का एक क्वेश्चन है. बैड अनफॉरगेटेबल मेमोरीज को जो हमारे साथ रह जाती हैं, दे आर रिमेनिंग विद अस, उनको कैसे छोड़ें और कैसे उनको लेट गो करके वी कैन लीव आवर लाइफ. तो इसके बारे में आप प्रकाश डालें.
That is also, as I said, unforgettable memories. If we try to build on other new good memories. So what we are going to do, we are going to create the tip of the iceberg, which is always visible, so that good memories जो है वो ऊपर रहेगा, and the unforgettable memories वो नीचे आ जाएगा. So our life will always be dominated by the good ones. जैसे कर्म में भी देखो, कर्म में we tend to think that we can delete or erase. No, till we don't get the results, either the fruits or the penalties for the positive or the negative, we are going to, that is stuck with us. Lekin karma, if we continue to build on the positivities, it comes to a time when the negativities are no longer visible, they have no influence in our life. So memories also are like that.
Right. आचार्य जी, अगला क्वेश्चन है जड़ बुद्धि टू एक दंत बुद्धि. इसको आप वो चाहते हैं एक बार दोबारा इस पे प्रकाश डाल दें.
Yeah, योग दर्शन gives us, it says तस्य वाचक प्रणव. प्रणव ध्वनि कोई अच्छा सा, I don't say अच्छा सा मंत्र, कोई, the simplest of it is Gayatri mantra, in which the prayer path is Dhyo Yo Naha Pracho. They are praying to Ishwar God to enlighten our mind. But please, when you do jap is the first and best way to improve the level of the mind, the level of the intellect. But when you do jap, don't rush. I always tell people, mala ko lekar ke kabhi aap jap nahi karo. Because what? Your focus is, ye mala kab samapt hoga. Even if you do jap of one mantra or one word, take your time, do the deep breathe in and breathe out, inhale and exhale, and go gradually with it. Feel the vibrations, feel the sound waves of your own pronunciation. So when you start being aware of what you are doing yourself, पहले जाप क्या होगा? वो वाचनिक होगा. That will be by vocal. फिर धीरे धीरे vocal silent होकर के, then that will start just being silent jap. And when you reach that level of silent jap, then you will find that you are more mindful, you are more aware of your state of mind. और फिर जब आप प्रयास करेंगे तब ईश्वर भी सहयोग करेगा. Without any physical, mental effort, you are not going to get anything in life. पुरुषार्थ के बिना फल हमें कभी मिलता नहीं. So just be aware of that. I will just jump onto one thing which you did say. हम सुबह सुबह मंदिर जाते हैं या पूजा रूम में जाकर के कुछ करते हैं. Are we aware at that time कि हम पूजा के लिए जा रहे हैं, even if it's for 1 minute or 5 minutes? Or कि हमें ये करना है, then only we'll leave. Then it becomes a formality. इसलिए उसका फल हम नहीं प्राप्त करते हैं. पुरुषार्थ में क्या होना चाहिए? At least mentally we prepare ourselves कि मुझे हर दिन 2 मिनट 5 मिनट जाप के लिए रखना है, पूजा के लिए रखना है, प्रार्थना के लिए करना है, इंट्रोस्पेक्शन के लिए रखना है. The things that will bring us more positivity, but we have to be fully aware of that. And the modern terminology which people have used for that is mindfulness. सजग रहना. And that's the concept of ईश्वर प्रणिधान. हमेशा देखना चाहिए ईश्वर मुझे देख रहा है, सुन रहा है, जान रहा है. Is the super consciousness, the supreme consciousness. अब जब मुझे देख रहा है, सुन रहा है, जान रहा है, हर समय में बच नहीं सकता. So पुरुषार्थ is the key to success.
वेरी ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू. और हम सबको ये समझने की ज़रूरत है कि ईश्वर हमें हर समय देख रहा है. हम सोचते हैं हम दो लोग बैठकर किसी और की कुछ बुराई कर रहे हैं या कहीं हम किसी और का कुछ बुरा सोच रहे हैं या कर रहे हैं मिलकर, उन्हें लगता है कोई भी तो नहीं देख रहा, लेकिन ईश्वर देख रहा है, आपका अपना मन देख रहा है. और जब भी हम कुछ बुरा काम करते हैं तो उसके कर्मा जो सामने आने हैं वो तो आने हैं, आपके मन में भी कहीं ना कहीं रहता है कि आज हमने ये गलत काम किया है, तो आप उसको कैरी करते हैं अपने साथ. अगला क्वेश्चन है डॉक्टर वीरेंद्र सिंह का, हाउ टू कंट्रोल नेगेटिविटी, अपने अंदर से नेगेटिविटी को बाहर कैसे निकालें?
That's where, if you go on the path of yoga, yama niyama, और वहां पे क्या आया है? ब्रह्मचर्य, the self-restraint, self-control. Then start reading about the scriptures, about the holy text. That will bring your mind to level of calm. And then, as I said, in every circumstances that you have to react, give a pause to yourself, whether it be 5 seconds, 10 seconds or 15 seconds. 15 seconds, सामने वाले व्यक्ति जो है आपको पहचान नहीं पाएगा कि आपने अपने आप को एक पोज दिया है. फिर जब रिएक्ट करेंगे, यू विल ब्रिंग द पॉजिटिविटी, आपने निगेटिविटी को दबा दिया. Because just by giving yourself a pause, if you don't give time to time and you don't give time to yourself, वो कभी आप प्राप्त नहीं करेंगे. उपलब्धि जो है योग सूत्र के आधार पे, you have to be constant practice, long practice, dedicated, passionate. न कि आज you've blasted and you say no, next time I'll correct myself. When you do introspection, you'll find you blasted today, take the resolution, मुझे कल इसको दोबारा नहीं करना है. So when the negativity is starting cropping up out of you, when you do the introspection, वहाँ पे जब आप resolve लेंगे और फिर resolve के ऊपर चलने के लिए आप पूर्ण पुरुषार्थ करेंगे, तो आपको जिसको कहते हैं ना डिवाइन गाइडेंस, डिवाइन सहयोग आपको मिलेगा.
परफेक्टली. आचार्य जी, एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन लेना चाहूँगी क्योंकि ज़्यादा लोगों के प्रश्न नहीं हैं, आपने उनको स्वाध्याय के लिए जागरूक कर दिया है, तो मुझे लग रहा है अब हम सब लोग अपने स्वाध्याय में लग जाएंगे. तो लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, क्योंकि अभी माला जप की बात आई, 2 लोगों ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, व्हाट इज़ द बेस्ट मेथड टू मेडिटेट, फॉर द मेडिटेशन विच इज़ द बेस्ट मेथड. एंड वन क्वेश्चन केम कि माला जपने का क्या सही तरीका है?
Okay. Best technique of meditation. It's up to you to find your own path. But remember, asana, sthir sukham asanam. It starts from there. सुख पूर्वक लंबे काल तक जहां बैठ सकते हैं, जिस आसन पे भी बैठ सकते हैं, that is the starting point. And the best asana of it would be Vajrasana, the kneeling down posture. Because उसमें आप रीढ़ की हड्डी, कमर और सर जो है बिल्कुल वर्टिकल रखना चाहिए थ्रू आउट. आगे पीछे दाएं बाएं झुकेंगे तो आपको दर्द होने लगेगा, you will have to sit down straight. but that also is a practice which you have to develop over a long time. Otherwise, घुटनों में सूजन आ जाएगा. You can get numbness of the feet, you can get swelling of the knees. So you can start by 30 seconds today, improving to 1 minute tomorrow, and to 3 minutes within 1 week, and to probably 5 minutes in over a month. So that goes on gradually. But it's up to you to choose the appropriate posture. Chahe one posture is to be avoided, Shavasana or lying down on the bed, because there you can easily fall asleep. लेकिन व्यक्ति जो बीमार है, then he will have to do it on Shavasana or बिस्तर पर लेटे हुए. But otherwise, take the appropriate posture and keep your body straight. फिर जाप जब आप करेंगे, जाप is a good starting point. But breathing is the first starting point. Inhale, exhale. Be conscious of that. Deep breathing, inhale and exhale. And I will always tell people it's a free step process. When you breathe in, first inflate your belly, then inflate the chest, then pull your shoulders up. You'll sense हवा जो है आपके दिमाग, आपके मस्तिष्क में चलने लगेगा. Then when you breathe out, pull your shoulders down, deflate the lungs, and pull your belly inside. That will empty your lungs because it creates pressure on the diaphragm. When you pull down your shoulders, creates pressure on your lungs. And when you pull your belly inside, it pushes the diaphragm up and compresses the lung. And remember, we are using, the average person is using about 17% of the lungs, not more than that. So when you do that deep inhale and exhale, you are increasing your blood oxygen level in your bloodstream, and you are using more of your lungs. So that boosts your immunity and brings you to that silence. Then you start with jap. And jap, as I said, be conscious of the words, of your pronunciation, of the sound waves and the vibrations of the sound waves. And when you sit down straight, the vibrations will be hitting your spinal cord, your brain, in the vertical line. And this is where you get the maximum of it, because if your spinal cord is curved, the vibrations will hit at various parts at different angles. और वहाँ पे it will create a cacophony. But if it's straight, it gets the same point at the same speed and the same degree of hitting at one and the same time. So that's synchronizing things. Then jap. I personally do not recommend people to use mala, because when we use mala, the focus is when are we going to finish the beads. Ye kab, it appears as a cumbersome job. Ye kab समाप्त होगा जी. So if you want another technique, ईश्वर ने हमारे हाथों में जाप करने की विधि दे दिया है. We don't need the mala. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. और फिर आपको 9 बार करना है, 18 बार करना है, 108 बार करना है. तो once you go 9, then you go 1 here. Then second time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you go another increase on the left hand. So you are still focusing on your own. बाहर किसी वस्तु, दूसरे वस्तु का प्रयोग आप नहीं कर रहे हैं. So you are going more on pratyahar, driving into the inner self. That is what I would be suggesting. Use the tools, the equipment that has been given to us by God, by nature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you grow on this other hand.
Very true. Very practical suggestion. कुछ ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं है, माला या कुछ हमारे साथ, हमारे अपने साथ ही वो हम है जिसे हम कर सकते हैं अपना जाप. और कोई क्वेश्चन आज के लिए नहीं है.
I find something on the, what is the difference between breath and prana? Breath is part of the prana. Apan is when we breathe out, prana is when we breathe out, and apan is when we breathe in. Then what are the other three vital life forces? Vyan, Udan, Saman. This is what distributes the energy and the oxygen throughout the body. And the other 5 sub, Kurmatu Dhananjay, these are the ways that nature has given us the vital life forces to drive the body energy, to drive the focus, and to drive the oxygen throughout the body. Remember, Kundalini Yoga is using only that vital life forces, which we call pran, to move between the chakras. And Maharishi Patanjali has given us in terms of pranayama, it's yeah, pran, these are the vital life forces. I hope I've been able to clear it out.
Yes, sir. Yes, Acharya.
Yes, sir. Yes.
सो इसके साथ ही आज का सेशन हम कंक्लूड करते हैं बहुत सारे ज्ञान के साथ, बहुत सारे नॉलेज के साथ, लेकिन इस इंटरनेशनल योगा फेस्टिवल के इस महाकुंभ के लेक्चर सीरीज का तभी फायदा होगा जब सभी स्टूडेंट्स, सभी फैकल्टी, सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स इन चीज़ों को डे टू डे लाइफ में इनकलकेट करेंगे और योगा के बाकी सारे आयामों को समझकर उस इस एंशिएंट साइंस का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा उपयोग करेंगे ताकि हम खुश रहें, हम सक्सेसफुल रहें, हम अपने धरती को संभाल सकें, हम अपनी सोसाइटी में, समाज में सभी लोगों को साथ लेकर चल सकें. नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट डॉक्टर राजेंद्र लाल to propose vote of thanks.
I just have one last word, please.
जी sir.
Yeah, one mention was made about World Environment Day, which is tomorrow. Just remember, जो हम शांति पाठ करते हैं ना, द्यौ शांति, पृथ्वी शांति, अंतरिक्ष शांति, आप शांति. Just to remember, look into our behavior towards each and every element of this universe in our environment. If our behavior is correct, then and only then these items, these elements, इन वस्तुओं से हम शांति प्राप्त कर सकते हैं. अगर हम इनके प्रति शांतिपूर्वक व्यवहार न करें, so even the Almighty can't help us there. That is one, and thanks to everybody, thanks to all of you for the opportunity to be with you.
धन्यवाद आचार्य जी, thank you. I would like to request Dr. Rajendra Rai, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjum. Namaste and pranam to one and all. I, on behalf of Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi, and the entire International Yoga Festival,
No sound. Dr. Rajendra, please unmute yourself.
Dr. Rajendra.
Okay. Now, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Namaste and pranams to one and all. I, on behalf of Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi, and the entire International Yoga Festival team, let me call it Fraternity of Yoga here together, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. First and foremost, we extend our thanks to Acharya Brahmadev Mukund Lalji, who very kindly accepted our humble request to grace this 4th session of 21 Days International Yoga Festival. In honoring him, we feel honored. I am sure his address would serve a beacon light to deliver the wisdom of yoga for all of us. Thank you very much for conducting a very engaging and interactive session, Acharya ji. We are grateful to our worthy principal, Dr. Rajiv Agarwal. Your presence here represents an emotional as well as academic connect. We have always felt when you have been around and constant source of inspirations for our staff and student. Thank you very much, sir. We also thank all the teachers, scholars, distinguished lover of yoga, and participants all around the world through Zoom and Facebook Live, whose presence here adds to the dignity of this occasion. We extend our thanks to today's moderator, Dr. Ruby Mishra and Dr. Anshum, for selecting and taking up the questions from Facebook and Zoom for the inquisitive. Thank you very much. Big thing to Dr. Aditya Saxena, convener IQAC, for continued technical support. Thank you very much, sir, once again. We also wish to express our gratitudes to various committees which have cooperated with us in making arrangements for this webinar. Now I would like to conclude this session with this mantra, Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvi Namadin Tamastu, Maviditi Shadahe. Om Shanti Shanti. Om, together we may to move, together maybe to relish, together may we perform with vigor. May what has been studied by us be filled with the brilliance. May it not give to rise to hostility. Namaste and pranam to all.
So just remember, you can contact me through Facebook, Acharya Brahmadeo, as it is written there on your screen, or Hindu Center of Atlanta. And then you can also connect to me on email, Acharya Brahmadeo, as it is written there, one word, @gmail.com, or Hindu Center of Atlanta @gmail.com. Either of them. I'm managing both of them.
धन्यवाद आचार्य जी। बहुत सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स आपको धन्यवाद उनकी तरफ से देने के लिए कह रहे हैं कि बहुत अच्छा इंटरैक्टिव सेशन था, और उनमें से बहुत लोग शायद आपसे आपकी ईमेल पर जुड़ेंगे भी। इसके साथ ही मैं सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का, स्पीकर्स का धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगी जो हमसे पूरे सेशन में जुड़े रहे। और कल 5 तारीख को 5वें दिन इस महाकुंभ में डॉक्टर एरिना हमारे साथ होंगी रोमानिया से, और डॉक्टर विजय कृष्णन होंगे हमारे साथ इंडिया से। तो कल 2 स्पीकर्स का सेशन एक साथ है। आप लोगों की अपेक्षा का इंतज़ार रहेगा। हम लोग लिंक आप लोगों को शेयर कर देंगे। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वन एंड ऑल। धन्यवाद।